This is Laquitha, and I want to talk about the horror film The Woman, which was filmed in 2011 or released in 2011, starring Pollyanna McIntosh as the woman. I was not aware that this was a part of a three-part trilogy of films, starting with The Offspring in 2009, The Woman 2011, and then the third standalone film, I believe it was made in 2019, and that one was called Darlin. So I'm going to just talk about the film as a standalone film because that's how I watched it and that's how I thought it was presented. So I watched the film, and for me, I immediately was picking up the archetype of Lilith and some of the mythology about the demoness woman. To me, it was very clear that they were kind of giving that for our main character, um, who is just kind of like a nameless woman. She shows up, she's feral, she is very almost animalistic in nature in the way that she engages the other people that are supposedly civilized. However, as the story progresses, you recognize that they are actually walking around in a way that makes them appear to be civilized in comparison to her. However, at a deep core level, it's very highly brutalistic and uncivilized in the way that they are justifying their behavior and actions amongst themselves and towards others. And so you just kind of see this woman who is captured by this man who is a well respected man in his community. He makes it his job to civilize and force her to show up in a way that is appropriate for what he believes to be the structure that he's in charge of, which is his family. However, you come to realize that he's actually deeply abusing his family, deeply abusing people in the community. He is a serial killer. He is kidnapping women and murdering them and all kinds of things, harming his own children, just doing a lot. His wife, women at his job, just doing a lot. And ultimately, it's kind of like a revenge horror where he does all these awful things. And then in the end, both he and his son actually end up getting killed by this woman, for not necessarily for their crimes, but just because it's presented as like that's the appropriate reaction to that type of behavior. So, there was a lot of social commentary that was, scattered throughout the film, very apparent. And from my understanding, the other films kind of build upon that. The backstory for the woman is that she is a part of a feral flesh eating tribe. And what ends up happening is she's kind of on her own. She's the last of them. And then this person, that the man who kidnaps her and tries to civilize her is maybe aware of that, maybe not, but takes it upon himself to do that. And that's where the story kind of gets its basis. At the end of the film, after she basically slaughters everyone, she takes the remaining children into her care and adopts them, and they kind of walk off. And so there's a third film that picks up where that left off. That's Darlin. I definitely think that now I'm aware that it was part of multiple films, that I would actually watch them because I am interested in the backstory as well as what happened afterwards and how that progresses on. So, very interesting social commentary as horror. Check it out if you have not and you would like something interesting to watch.